Okay. Welcome back, everybody, to the Evolution League Racing 4 Season 1, round number 3. Did they have the... Sorry, did I just see the... I think I'm imagining it. I thought I saw the new Red Bull livery, but that wouldn't make sense. But we're here for round 3, sprint and race at Silverstone. Around the final corner comes no more options on their first outlap, using an awful lot of ERS for an outlap. Got Shane and the Aston Martin behind them. Two of them just starting their lap. There's Milan, that is, coming around the final corner with Rav right behind, who's spun at the final corner of turn 17. Just before starting his lap. Still gets going. Is that... I swear I just saw rain. I don't think so. It's just a fairly overcast day in the UK, as you sort of expect. Current championship leader Liam Border is not able to be around today. So it's looking like it's either going to be Polytrump or Aeon taking the lead of the championship. 8 and 9 points behind the leader respectively. Oh, sorry, no. 9 and 8 points behind. With Aeon being 8. Polytrump 9 points behind. Shane and no more options. Both going down the hangar straight, but they're a bit close to one another. And might well end up costing the other one time. So they both started a flying lap at the pretty much at the same time. Shane's invalidated as well. Going through Stowe. So there's going to be no more options. And that's the first car around the final corner. Across the line. It's a 29.0. That's the first lap we see in this session. R34 going through Cops Corner. And just about keeping it in a straight line. So Milan coming around the last couple of corners as well. As is Rav, who did spin on his outlap, so don't expect too much. Polytrump is on the medium compound tyre. Coming through the Vale chicane, turn 16 and 17. Across the line he goes. And Polytrump goes fast as 126.9. So far, and he's fast by quite some way. But we're still yet to see some more competitive times set in this session, so you'd expect that advantage to reduce by some margin. There's also Clifty Clive coming around that final corner as well. Galavera 131.8 on the medium tyres. And the next car across the line is going to be Shane, who's not on a flying lap at the moment, but will be going again. And into the pit lane comes no more options, having done their run already. Currently being in P2. Felt like I just saw someone post a time, but clearly I didn't. Mr. Business just coming through Maggots and Beckett's at the moment. Before exiting through turn 13 with the DRS now down onto the hangar straight with a 103.9 in those first two sectors. Mr. Business coming up into Stowe, the right-hander, turn number 15 at the end of the hangar straight, coming down in towards the final chicane of 16 and 17. And then it's the last corner. Turn number 18 awaits for Mr. Business, who comes across the line. So 127.7. He's 8 tenths off, but he sits in second place. As it will be, obviously, a sprint race later on. This is sprint qualifying, so it's a bit shorter than a regular qualifying session would be. Clifty Clive goes into P3 with a 128.4. There's Shane coming into that final chicane. 5 and a bit, close to 6 seconds up on his personal best as he comes round that final corner. Might go up into P3. Yes, he does. So 127.7 to go right to where Mr. Business is, albeit on the softer tyre. And we've got Rav, who's going to be coming across the line, but he's down on his personal best. Will not be improving this time around. He goes across the line. Possibly even made a mistake at that final corner. We've got Ian, who's just heading out on his outlap for what might be his only run of the session right now, with not too long left. He might be able to get 2 runs in, but there's not going to be many for the sprint qualifying session. And Shane's out of fuel, is just limping back to the pit, so I don't think we'll be able to see how long is left anytime soon. Which is unfortunate, but it's just what we got to deal with the way the game works. It just is stuck saying it's a yellow flag, and we don't really know how long's left. And the drivers will know, because it tells you, but it tells you in the top right corner, which doesn't get blocked by the yellow flags, but for a spectator it does block it off, so I don't really know. There's Rav, who's up by a little bit, might go up into P7. But yeah, but with 3 minutes left to go in this session, and will only get 1 outage on the circuit, might get 2 laps completed, but he's not going to get the time to come into the pit lane again as he goes through that first corner. That first couple of corners is obviously going to hope that he can send himself right to the front of the field when he's in the fight to take the lead of the Drivers' Championship, which I assume Red Bull are leading the Constructors. But I couldn't be sure on that one. Let me just check. Indeed, the standings, the Constructor standings, are led by Red Bull at this stage by 1 point over Williams, so they'll definitely be hoping and should most likely extend their advantage at the top. Here goes Ian through Maggots and Beckett, turns 10, 11, 12, 13, and now the last little kink of turn 14 onto the hangar straight, and using all that remaining battery that he'll have, he's not used just yet, using it all now. So he goes through Stowe, and now down into the Vale chicane, turn 16, 17 and 18, gets it stopped, rotated nicely. Here comes Ian round the final corner. Across the line he goes. It's a 126.7, as the fastest lap we've seen so far, albeit both Polytromp and Mr. Business set their times on a set of the medium compound tyre. So Polytromp currently on a flying lap, close to 3/10 up through that first sector alone. You'd expect the tyre advantage or the tyre difference to make a huge swing in his lap time as he's 6/10 up, going into that final sector with still plenty of time to improve. He's got the pretty much flat out right-hander of Stowe first to come. Is not fully flat on this game, but is close to, as he gets it stopped for the Vale chicane now. 16 and 17. Back on the power. Round the final corner, it's a snap. He just about keeps it within the white lines. It's a 126.5. But he lost a lot of time in that final sector. And it's a case of what could have been. He still does go fastest. Mr. Business, En's teammate, currently sitting behind his teammate by as fairly small margin, will be hoping to get himself onto the front row. R34 goes fastest with a 126.3. And with Polytromp not able to set another lap, that could be the time to make him start from the front for the sprint. As Ayan, coming around that final corner, might be tight to the line, but I think he'll just about make it with a second to spare. So we do have a few drivers on final flying runs at this stage. It's Ayan versus Mr. Business, the two Red Bulls on their final flyers at this stage, and it's all or nothing for the pair of them. With pretty much nothing, like no way they can fall down from where they currently are. Mr. Business through, Cop's corner to the right, and now through the middle sector he approaches Maggots and Beckett's, then it's Chapel. And he just needs to keep it tidy and keep improving to, if he wants the chance of getting anywhere close to the front. He's 8/10 up. As things stand, he needs 1.2 to challenge Polytromp, 1.4 to go fastest. As he goes through Stowe, turn number 15. Seems to have got it through nicely. And then it's getting its stop for the Vale chicane as his last major challenge of the lap. It's the acceleration out of the chicane. He seems to have done it fairly nicely as he comes across the line. He improves by 1.2 seconds, but it's not enough to challenge for that pole. We've got Ayan going through Stowe as well. He's going to meet the McLaren, meet the Ferrari there, who's just coming into the pit lane. Ayan through the final chicane. Needs a sizable improvement if he wants to improve upon his P4. Here he comes around the final corner. And he does improve just enough to go into P3. Not quite enough for the front row. But for that sprint, it's going to be R34. Starting from the front with Mr. Business on the front row. Ayan and Polytromp third and fourth, the two fighting it out to try and take the lead of the championship. With Chain in fifth. No more options. Clifty Clive, Milan, Calavera, Rav, and Staunch Throne rounding off the field. And we await the sprint race here in Silverstone, which should begin some point in the near future. with the sprint starting shortly. We are just anticipating the formation lap beginning. It's a bit weird having a formation lap with a 9-lap race ahead of us, but at the same time it kind of makes sense. It's the sort of point where either tyre could work, with both softs and mediums being able to go the distance. Top 3 all on mediums, everyone else bar Clipty Clive on the softs, which will make for an interesting dynamic later in the race, because they'll all be a lot quicker at first, especially Polytrump. He'll be right there at the start of the sprint, but then he might start falling away just that little bit as his tyres start to go off just ever so slightly. It'll be an interesting one to see. The difference in strategies will be quite interesting. It'll just be 9 laps of straight racing action as we just anticipate how this race will go. 9 laps start to finish, in which we should see battling and we should see some good, strong racing. That's what we hope for when we go into the race, but we can only really just make predictions. We don't know what's going to happen before we get there. But R34 will be lining them up on the grid, with Mr. Business, N and Polytrop behind him. Now, that's the top 4 that you'd expect to be fighting from the front. But who knows? Maybe the soft tyres and the tyre advantage they have will be all the difference. We're going to be on board with Polytrump for the start because, again, we have a poor camera angle. But here we go. The sprint race here in Silverstone is about to begin. 9 laps ahead of the drivers. To 5 red lights we go. And it's lights out. And away we go. Polytrump with the soft tyres gets a brilliant launch. Moves past the end already, and now already on the outside of Mr. Business. Polytrump from 4th on the grid. Moves up to 2nd by turn number 2. And it's a very, very strong start for the McLaren, who hopes to lead the championship after this race. A couple guys going off in the background, and that's a spin. Milan's going round and tumbling down to the back of the field. Polytrump now in 2nd place. Mr. Business behind him tried to get back into the position where he started. There he goes. There goes Polytrump from 4th on the grid. Leads by the time they get to the end of the first sector. R34 goes in the back of them as they try to navigate Brooklands and Luffield. Here's Mr. Business as well with the DRS, with the slipstream. Tries to go for the move, but he can't do so on R34. But now on the exit of Cop's corner, he tries around the outside into Maggots, but realistically he was never going to be afforded the space to make that one stick. Polytrump starting to extend his advantage out front, stretching his legs on those soft tyres. Here comes Mr. Business, trying to go for that 2nd place on the Ferrari. To the inside he goes, and he moves past into Stowe, and trying to follow him his teammate through, so they go wheel to wheel again. But I don't think the Red Bull's close enough to go for anything just yet. He sends one into the Vale chicane. But R34 does well to defend, but he goes too deep. And there goes Aaron back past. Into 3rd place is a Red Bull 2-3. So they try to hunt down Polytrump. They're going to need to work together, because I think on their own, they're not going to quite have enough. Obviously, they will get the DRS on the McLaren, and that will play into their favour. Here comes Mr. Business with the DRS. He's got to do a decent bit, because I think Polytrump's faster on the straights as well. He is gaining, but he's not gaining particularly much. Polytrump is in a very strong position at the start of the sprint here. R34 has fallen out of the DRS of Ayan already, having allowed the Red Bull past. He's now lost the 2nd, and that might well be his chances over of fighting for the top 3. But again, Mr. Business, I don't think he's going to be close enough to be able to get into the fight with Polytrump, at least not for now. He's going to have to hope that the soft tyres will go off in the latter stages of this sprint. But for now, he can only just sit in the DRS and pull himself along, just clinging on to the back of the McLaren, but he's not gaining nearly enough down the straights to even be able to think about going for the fight. Calavera's lost a bit of his front wing, having gone off the track there most likely on the exit of Chapel. No more options, and Clifty Cliver battling it out. The closest fight we've got in the field at the moment. That kicks Alba, missing a little bit of his front wing there on the right hand side. Polytron with the fastest lap of the race again, ever so slightly extending advantage over the previous lap. Again, it's the McLaren up front being hunted by the two Red Bulls. It's the opposite of what happened in the real-life 2024 season. It's the McLaren up front, completely unchallenged by his teammate right now. And the two Red Bulls, nip and... how's the phrase? Nip and tuck? I shouldn't say phrase that I don't know, really. It's not a good idea just in general. But the two Red Bulls right behind one another, chasing him down, like what we see with the two McLarens. Again, Mr. Business is getting closer over these last few laps as the mediums come in to their own a little bit more. And eventually Polytron probably will be caught, as his tyres will only just deteriorate over time. Obviously so will the mediums, but at a lesser rate. Milan's gone off again, but I can't tell if he's got any damage. I think again for a while they are just going to sit in the same order that they're currently in. Can't see much changing in the next little while. Staunch Throne's got a 3-second time bounty, currently in 8th place, might end up falling to 9th by the end of the race if that penalty, or if he can't open that gap out just a little bit more. Again, Milan's gone off through the final corner. And again, Polytron's just got that bit bigger of an advantage. Milan's retired from the session. Possibly crashed into the wall. No, I think he's retired on track, which you're not meant to do, but I don't think it's going to affect anything in the end. So again, with 5 laps to go, or 5.5 laps to go in the sprint, Mr. Business tucks back into the DRS. And it's the same story of him just closing back up with the DRS, but he's not able to do much with it. He's just only able to sit there for the time being. So they all go around the chicane, the Vale chicane, and on to lap number 5 of 9. Mr. Business takes the fastest lap away. But again, there's only so much he can do when he's just stuck. He's not even stuck behind the McLaren. He can't get close enough through the middle sector. He's just only being pulled along by the DRS at the moment. But it's working. He just needs to hope that in the last couple of laps, Polytron's tyres start to suffer. Because if they don't do that, then he'll be stuck to P2. Polytron's brilliant start, though, needs to be, and it needs to be applauded. Because just he got himself from 4th up to 1st within a sector, really. Here comes Mr. Business again, but he's not going to be close enough. He's just sitting there, just too far to do anything at this stage. Polytron definitely seems to have made the right call so far by going on the medium tyres. On the soft tyres, sorry. If everything stays as it is. And here they go again. But yet again, it's the same story. Mr. Business just not close enough to do anything. Although this time, he's a bit closer to the back of Polytromp. And I think this might be the lap where finally we see a change at the front. After lap 1, it's been just the same running order ever since. But I think this time Mr. Business will be close enough as the Red Bull goes down the inside into turn number 15 of Stowe. He's going to want to slow Polytromp down a tiny bit to allow Ian back into the fight if he wants to play the team game. But his teammate is just sitting 7.5, 8 tenths behind, which will be enough for now. But it's not an ideal gap to be at, because at least he's susceptible to falling off the DRS with just one tiny mistake. But again, Polytromp's going to be wanting to fight that one back as they go down the Wellington Straight into turn number 6 of Brooklands. The aim for Polytromp will be to get back past, but for now, Mr. Business leads for the first time in this race. We see a driver really other than R34 and Polytromp leading. Mr. Business really needs to just back up his teammate unless he thinks he can pull away from Polytromp and get out of that DRS, so then his teammate can start fighting for the position. Because as things stand, Mr. Business will take the win in the sprint, but Polytromp will take second. He won't take the lead of the championship just yet. He'll be 3 points. He'll be a couple of points off it from only the 7 points rewarded for a second place in the sprint. Again, he's not close enough to go for the move into Stowe. He's just going to have to tuck in again and wait for another opportunity. Ian is going to be getting closer and closer as they go around. The more times they go, the more advantage the Red Bull's going to get as they just sit here out front. The front 3 completely untouched by the rest of the field so far. R34 led for a brief period of time, but then it was Polytromp with a brilliant start. But now those soft tyres seem to be starting to struggle compared to the mediums as they go around again on to the Wellington Straight. Polytromp has the DRS, closing in on Mr. Business. He's going to try go around the outside, but he's not going to be close enough. And again, Ian just gets closer. And now we await a last lap showdown between the 3 of them, which is what we're most likely to see with the 2 Red Bulls on the best of medium tyres. Polytromp with probably more raw pace and more battery than Mr. Business. Got the same amount as Ian, who's just sitting right behind. But Mr. Business isn't saving as much as the other 2, and that may cost him as they go on to the final lap. Just having that little bit less battery could be his downfall. And again, yellow flag, that's Raph, who's had a spin through turn number 4 into 5. Here they go again. There goes Polytromp trying to get the move on Mr. Business, but he's left himself vulnerable to Ian, who tried to go around the outside. There was contact. I think the Red Bull has lost a little bit of his front wing as that happened, as he's tried to go around the outside. Yes, he has. That's a missing end plate for Ian, but he can try to cling on. Onto this final lap they go. And Mr. Business leads still from Polytromp. Ian, his teammate in 3rd, limping home with that damaged bit of front wing. But Ian is going to try and get Polytromp back. Polytromp's going to try and get Mr. Business back as they all go round onto the Wellington Straight with the DRS. Surely you don't want to overtake here. Ian's trying to get back into the fight though. He doesn't mind overtaking here. He sends one to the inside on both of them. Mainly his teammate. But he gets ahead of Polytromp and sort of just stops the car on the apex. Leaves the McLaren with nowhere to go. Ian moves up into 2nd place. And now there's that major buffer between him and his teammate. Polytromp's not going to give it up though. If they go wheel to wheel through Copse Corner, Ian's forced wide. As you just can't go side by side there. But it's Polytrump who keeps that second place and really needed to be there to be in the fight. But now, Polytrump is going to have the opportunity to go past Mr. Business with the DRS onto the final lap down the hangar straight. He moves around the outside. There's only so much Mr. Business can do about that one. And Polytrump leads and is going to win the sprint. And as things stand, unless Mr. Business can fancy a late move on the inside, he goes over the curbs as he tries to avoid the rear of that McLaren car. It's going to be Polytrump who wins the sprint in Silverstone, with Mr. Business second and in third, who's going to be left disappointed after that wing damage that cost him from being able to fight. R34, who started on pole, finishes down in fourth. Shane's going to come home in P5. Clive will get P6 with no more options in P7. And with a 12-second penalty. Staunch Throne, maybe. I will be outside the points. Maybe down in... Oh. He may be down completely at the back. But he's definitely going to be outside the points. It's going to be Calavera taking home the final point in the sprint. And Rab's going to come across the line. Might get P9. But then both out... But outside the points anyway. And now, we have the main race to do after that sort of teaser of how the sprint went. And now we're back to qualifying. But qualifying's now underway for the main race after that sprint. And I think it's going to be quite a similar story to what we saw just a couple of minutes ago. And that's Clive Clive as the first car out onto the track. So Clive Clive will be the first to set a lap time in the main qualifying. And he's got R34 quite close behind him. Which, oh no, that's not R34, that's Milan. Quite close behind him. Will definitely be affected by the dirty air. Cliffy Clive goes through turn 1 to start the new qualifying session. So Cliffy Live going through Copse Corner, turn number 9. And then it's into the Magnussen Beckett complex of 10 into 11, then 12, 13 and 14. Somebody left? I don't think so. It's Clive through turn number 15, gonna get it. And it's just coming into that final sector of 16, 17 and 18. And around the last corner he goes, does use up all of his battery. Cliffy Clive sets a 1:28.0. And then Milan invalidated right at the end of his lap there. Won't be posting it to the leaderboard in the end. Oh, is that bug? Oh, not this one. Yeah, I've seen this bug before. It's a Silverstone only thing. It's only at this track where you have it. Yeah, it's not ideal. Then, no more options coming around the final corner, starting his first lap of the session. Mr. Business will be doing the same. And again, Bolytrump's going to be leaving his lap till late in the session. And Milan's coming into the pit lane. Not many laps. I mean, there's only one lap set so far in the session. Currently by Cliffy Clive. You've got Staunch Throwing coming into the final chicane as well. And there's the Williams of Calavera coming across the line as well. But that's just starting a flying lap. Next car to the line, Mr. Business, 103.2 in the first couple of sectors. Coming in towards turn number 15. Looking like a strong lap so far. From the Red Bull, but no! How's he caught that one? He's got fully sideways onto the curb and validated as well. Mr. Business's lap will not count. Polytrump has now disconnected. It's a 29.4 in the end, having half spun. invite Polytron back into the session. There's the glitch car of Shane, but there goes Storm throwing around the final corner as well. Calavera. Polytrump needs another invite. Let's send 3 for good measure. There's Aang coming around the final corner as well. He's just starting his first flying run of the session. Mr. Business, obviously, will need to set another run. Whether he comes back into the pits or whether he just goes again is a different story. I do not know. With 9 minutes left in qualifying. There goes Mr. Business again. Onto his first flying, or his second flying run of the session, which this time he will hopefully finish as he goes round the loop onto the Wellington Straight. Round entry, and there he goes, DRS active, in towards turn number 6. He's got his teammate N, who's going through that middle sector, but he's invalidated as well. Neither Red Bull able to keep it in the white line so far. Polytrump not currently in the session either. And this time Mr. Business does seem to have kept it through the white lines. It's the same base, pretty much exactly as what he was doing before. So this is what that lap could have been as he goes through turn number 8. Not turn number 8, sorry, I'm reading the leaderboard. Turn number 15 into the Vale Chicane of 16, 17, and club of turn 18, the final corner. Across the line he goes. It's 126.6 for Mr. Business. And that's the best that we will see for a while. His teammate AM might be able to do something about it, but he's not currently on a flying lap. Shane's still a little bit blocked, a little bit stuck on the circuit. I don't think Shane's going to be able to set a lap time in this session, which is it's unfortunate, but here comes Milan through the final chicane. There goes the Ferrari. 128.8 goes into P4. And then it's Aiden who's just starting his, what will probably be his first completed lap of the session. DRS active as he now goes on for the Wellington Straight. Realistically has to complete this one. He's still yet to set a valid lap so far. And I think this lap from Anne will just be this lap from N1031 is on course to be the fastest of the session so far. As he goes through turn number 15 of Stowe in towards the bow chicane. And there he goes. Across the line, he goes fastest with a 126.5. But he's not fastest by much. He stays. He goes fastest. There's not a big gap between him and his teammate. And here comes Ollie Trump to try and upset it. Ollie Trump will be aiming here to try and get himself on pole position to back up what he's able to do in the sprint with another strong result. We've still not seen a time from some of these drivers so far. Ollie Trump obviously setting strong sector times as his first run of the entire session. You'd expect Polly will get himself at least to the top 3 with this lap. I'd expect it to be up to pole position quite comfortably. But here he comes through turn number 15 of Stowe. He's just got to get it through these final couple of corners. And I'd assume just getting a lap in will be enough for the McLaren. It wasn't enough for him in the previous session, but it should be enough this time around. As he comes around the final corner, it's a 26.1 to go fastest by 0.4 of a second, which might be his only lap that he gets done in this session. R34 as well. He's just starting a run through the first sector, just into the start of the second. No more options coming through the final corner as well. Rav there also yet to set a run so far. R34 is going to be in the slipstream of Staunch Throne, who is firmly on the racing line. And that may well cost the Ferrari driver his run. It's not great, that. I don't know if the McLaren was on a lap himself, but I don't think he was. And it's really just... It sucks for R34, who's going to be coming into the pit lane. That will be a penalty for the McLaren of Staunch Throne, unless he can prove he wasn't a flying lap. But he didn't. He was 2 seconds off his best. So I don't think he's going to be able to get away with that. But I don't think Polytrump's going to be getting to the line again. With a minute 45 left in the session, I think Polytrump could well find himself not setting a final run again. Oh. Suboptimal, that. And the McLaren might have been on the lap, but he was a second down as he came across the middle sector split. So I'm not totally sure about that. I'm gonna... What do you mean no network connection? There is network connection on my device because I'm streaming. There must be network connection. Oh, we love EA, don't we? Can you let me connect to the network, please? Can you communicate with online services? There we go, right. Need an invite. Someone. So, can I get an invite from someone? I can't use the invites I gave to Polytrump. I need an invite. Like, there you go. Polytrump to the rescue. Okay, it's just not showing it through the game. There we go. Right, we're back. Hopefully there's time to see these final runs. Oh, there's 40 seconds. Oh, joy. I don't think Polytrump's making the line. Especially not if he's got the time to invite me. Here we go. It's the last runs of qualifying. As we approach 9 PM. Should get the race started for 9. And be done. Decent time before 10. There we are, the final runs of qualifying, spearheaded by N and Mr. Business, the two Red Bulls that got themselves to 2nd and 3rd for the sprint, are now challenging for pole again here. R34 is not going to set a lap time in the end, having been impeded there on his final run. Who's not going to set a time at all, so it's straight to the two Red Bulls to take the fight to Polytrump here. And if they can't beat the McLaren, then no one will. Here comes Mr. Business, going through the middle sector. The split, he's invalidated his run. And 3rd will be the best that he can do in this session. And Ian is a tiny bit up, but it's not nearly enough if he wants to improve on his personal best. I don't think, it is enough to improve on his best lap so far, but it's not enough to take pole away from Polytrump unless he can find 0.4 of a second in the final chicane. But no, he goes around, and the order will stay as it was. Polytrump on pole, N in 2nd, Mr. Business in 3rd with Clifty Clive 4th. No More Options 5th, Milan 6th, Storm's Throne in 7th, Calavera in 8th, Ravin 9th, and Shane in R34, not setting laps, are in 10th and 11th. But now, yeah, it will be at 9. We've got a couple of minutes until we get going for the main race. We've seen the sprint already. And now it's just the main race to go. Obviously, a much longer race in the end, but we should be getting going in just a minute's time. Or probably just a matter of seconds at this stage. And then it will be the same sort of situation as we had before, most likely. Here we go. The formation lap gets underway again. And this time everyone's starting on the mediums. Wanting those softs for the end of the race. They're all on the medium tyres. No more options on the softs. Staunch Throne on the softs. Rav and R34 all on the softs. Is R34 actually here? Or has he left the session? Because that seems to be an AI driving to me. So that's most definitely a ghost car. Looks to me like that's an AI driving. But Polytron is leading its way around. And R34 has just disconnected, he's not there. Polytron coming around to line up on the grid. He's got Ian, he's got Mr. Business behind him. Both Red Bulls looking for a quick getaway to mirror what he was able to do in the sprint. Clifty Clive missing his grid position there, as did No More Options. And R34. I can't tell if there's actually a human driving that car. From that parking, I don't think so. I think he has disconnected, but I can't invite him back. So we just have to go with it. And watch what happens on the first lap of the Grand Prix. 26 laps this time of Silverstone to 5 red lights. It's lights out, and away we go. And this time Polytron gets away well again. Clifty Clive on the inside of Mr. Business thinks about it. He's not close enough to do anything side by side. That's Staunch Throne going ever so slightly wide through turn number 1. Trying to challenge on the outside. There goes Ian to the race lead on Polytron, but now the McLaren goes slightly wide, inviting Mr. Business to go back through. They're side by side onto the Wellington Straight. Here's the two Red Bulls in a 1-2. They're going to be 3 wide down the end of the Wellington Straight. Polytron wisely does not make it 3 wide. He's trying to fight Mr. Business. The Red Bull trying to go right the way around the outside. He can't manage so. And Polytron keeps that second place, but the Red Bulls are feisty. They're wanting that 1-2. Here they go. Mr. Business round the outside of Cop's Corner. He's going to get the move done, but Polytron is going to try and keep his car there. There's nothing he can do. It's a Red Bull 1-2 in Silverstone after the first lap. Polytron beat them both in the sprint, but now the pair of them are together and they're trying to work for a sprint. R34's just been kicked and immediately retired, which is a bug with the game, which is obviously a big shame for the Ferrari. Clifty Clive, No More Options, and Milan are staying in this front train for now, but expect them to fall back with time. It's Ayan who leads. Mr. Business providing a buffer in second, and Polytron down in third. And if he really wanted to, I could imagine Mr. Business could back Polytron up through that middle sector, give its teammate the 1 second, and then can just keep backing him up, costing him time to secure and the victory, but I'm sure he doesn't want to do so. Clifty Clive does have the DRS, but he's not very close behind and may well be about to fall out and separate into 2 separate trains on lap number 2. But that's sort of what we would expect in this race anyway. Polytron, Mr. Business, Ayan, the front 3. Clive's just about there, but I think he is going to fall out of the DRS as they go through Magnussen and Beckett's on lap number 2. We do see the separation into 2 separate trains. This front train spearheaded by the 2 Red Bulls, and then the second one with Clifty Clive and No More Options, followed by Milan. Here they go. Polytron trying to go past the 2 Red Bulls, but there's contact, and that's Mr. Business spearing off down the straight. So there's contact with Polytron, who tried to pull out to take the lead. He has done so anyway, at the expense of the Red Bull. That's a nasty shunt for Mr. Business, who falls down to 7th, and now leaves Ayan up on his own at the front. Mr. Business has got to work his way back through that field. He's got to do it quickly if he wants any chance. He's 5 seconds behind the lead group. And I think, unless we see a safety car, that's his race pretty much done. Although with the safety car at Silverstone, it's rather uncommon, especially on the game. So it's just not that many places you can crash. That's the thing. Clifty Clive thinking about sending it on No More Options. There's a bit of contact as he tries, but nothing really comes of that. And nothing for good or for bad. Ayan has just got to stick with Polytron for as long as possible. And because he's now the sole driver flying a flag for Red Bull at the front of the field, going directly up against the McLaren, who made contact with his teammate, sending him down to 7th place, which he's already recovered to 6th. But it's not an ideal position for either of them. There he goes, back into the race lead. And that's going to be his game plan for the rest of the race, really, because I don't think Mr. Business is going to be able to work his way up back into this train with the 5-second deficit that he has, unless Ayan decides to start holding up the McLaren. I think Mr. Business has already seen the best of his race, and it's only lap number 4. It's an annoying incident because I can tell what Polytron tried to do. He just wanted to try and be able to attack Ayan, but then Mr. Business was just in that annoying point where he couldn't quite pull out. But maybe on his end the arrow would have been white with the game. I'm not sure, but he was close enough that there's only so much he could do. There's No More Options. Mr. Business and Milan in a 3-way battle as the Red Bull's trying to work his way back up the field. There he goes, past the pair of them. Mr. Business moves up into 4th place, but all that's done is open up the gap for Clifty Clive, who's now completely on his own, unless the Haas car can follow Mr. Business to catch back up to the Kick Sauber. And Mr. Business is pretty much on pace for the leaders. He lost half a second. There goes Polytron back up into the race lead. He lost a decent bit of time as he tried to work his way through the cars in front of him. But he's making his comeback, but I think there's only so much he can do. I mean, this lap he's not going to be back, or maybe is he going to be back within a second already? He is. Mr. Business is going to be back up into 3rd place within a couple of laps after that major incident that he suffered just a lap and a half ago. He's not going to get the position just yet, but it's going to be soon. And then, what will the situation be? And he's 6 seconds behind. I don't see a way in which he can get back into the race without, you know, a dramatic change in circumstances. And there's Ayan as well with the DRS, but there's a yellow flag. That's Rav who's gone off through. That's Luffield. Probably gone off at Brooklyn. He's trying to get back going and struggling to do so. There goes Mr. Business back up into 3rd place. Rav's trying to get back going, struggling to do so, but I think now he has got his car back in the front in a straight line. Milan tried to go for a move on no more options, went a bit wide and lost out in the end. Sends it to the inside into the Vale chicane. Shane trying to get involved as well. Both of these, are they all missing an end plate? Because Milan is, no more options isn't, but Shane is. So a bunch of them just missing a bit of their front wing at the moment. Mr. Business obviously just doing the laps. There's only so much he can do. He's ahead of Clifty Clive now, but he can't do much really in this race at all. There's another 20 laps to go. Unless we get a safety car, don't think Mr. Business is going to do much more. Which is a shame because it might not even be his fault. From what I saw, it didn't seem to be his fault. But maybe a different perspective will change my opinion on that. These front two still going at it. Mr. Business can't quite pull away from Clifty Clive just yet, but I think he's basically got that position secured. There goes Milan on no more options again, but again goes that little bit wide. Here comes the Haas car again, trying to go around the outside, but there's nothing he can do to make that move, and will stay in 6th place. And Mr. Business is just losing time because there's nothing he can do. I mean, realistically, Mr. Business can't do anything at the moment because he's just not got the chance to fight. He's just sitting 8 seconds behind the race lead. The guy's going to be wondering what he did wrong because there's nothing he can... There's nothing he can really do. There goes Shane on no more options. But again, like, it's just... And these three are going to be battling. I mean, but at the front, the race just seems to be pretty much sealed at this stage. Well, Ayan's a bit closer than he has been previously as they get closer to the pit stop stage. But I think unless we see a safety car, the front three is determined, and 3rd place is pretty much secured for Mr. Business. He's not going to lose out to Clifty Clive, but he's not going to gain on the front two. And then this front two can go all out in the fight for that race lead. Milan, Shane and No More Options are all just sitting here in that train with only so much that each one can do. So they go side by side, as that's very wide from Milan. It allows Shane to try and get into the fight. He doesn't have nearly enough of a run to be able to do so. And they remain in the order they were in before. I think again, it's just the like there's such a divide in the field. Because from Liberty Clive down to Shane, it's a 10-second gap. From Mr. Business to the front three is 9 seconds. But, you know, not all of that is the Red Bull's fault. Because on raw pace, he's definitely there with the front three, but obviously had that incident. And Ian's just there in second, not able to do much. So we come to the end of lap number 9. We've done the distance of a sprint race. And so far, these front two haven't really gone at it yet. But Ian has a lot more battery in reserve than Polytrump, and I think it might be the time when they start to fight one another. There's no more options from that soft tyre. Comes into the pit lane on lap number 10, just starting on the end of lap 9. Here goes Ian, thinking about it. He's not gone for the move just yet, but he'll get there some point later in the lap. You'd expect he's going to try it. Oh, the hard tyre at Silverstone. I'm not sure about that one. And by not sure about that one, I know it's pretty rubbish. Thinks no more options. Has accidentally shot himself in the foot there by going with the hard tyre. Ian with the DRS closing in on Polytrump, but again I think he's just that little bit too far back. At least for now, he's just going to have to tuck him behind and stay in that second place. These two have fought for victory in both races so far. So Ian wasn't quite there in Saudi Arabia after the events that happened towards the end. But I want to say he still got a podium. Yeah, he got third in the end. Oh yeah, he got damaged, didn't he? Yeah, Ian picked up front wing damage. Can't remember exactly where, but that one cost him quite a lot. Liam Wilder won the race in the end after Polytrump put the car in the wall. But really, that should have been the Red Bull's race. He should be leading the championship by a decent way. And Polytrump and Ian were going right at it all the way to the final lap. Final corner in the first race in Spa. But then Ian ended up spinning at the last corner, came home in third. The gaps all across the field now. And I've just opened up that a little bit more. Mr. Business was coming for the hard tyres. Which again is a very... Again, I just don't think the hards is a very good tyre here. Milan's had a spin at the final corner. Mr. Business has pitted for the hards, but he's going to emerge. He's going to be so much slower than everyone else. He had to try something. He had to roll the dice. And there he's going to go on Milan back up into 5th place, but he's gone for the hard tyres, and now I didn't really see a way of him closing back up before, but now I definitely don't. He did have to try something though, but with that tyre at this track just isn't a good combination. So we're approaching the halfway point in this race. Again, still just the front two. They just don't want to fight at this stage in the race. Not wanting to take too much risk and save the fighting for the end. Makes sense, but from an entertainment point of view, I'd love to see them going at it. And possibly Ayan's thinking he doesn't need to fight because he reckons Polytrop's going to get a penalty for the incident with Mr. Business. Here they are coming up to lap Staunch Throne, Polytrop's teammate. So that will give the McLaren a bit of DRS, which might allow him to open the gap up a little bit more. Yeah, Polytron will get the DRS from his teammate, and that will allow him just that little bit more of a gain down this hangar straight. There they both go, past the McLaren, who is now a lap down from the leaders. And into the pit lane comes in on lap number 13. He's going to prioritise the undercut. His soft tyres, by the end, will be quite poor. But then the undercut will make them worth it. And let's go for the hards. He's also going with the hard tyres. It's just not... That's really surprising. Because I've seen races at Silverstone and they've almost never been worth it to go onto the hards. But it's interesting now, so we got a completely different dynamic in this race. I'd expect Polytron's going to go a bit longer, and he's going to go for the softs, because I've seen a race in which Polytron has gone with the hard tyres and lost out massively from it, so he's going to be aware of that and wanting to do the exact opposite. Which is really intriguing for the end of this race. I mean, I don't know what the pit stop window is exactly. But And you'd expect him to come out in a similar place, and if Polytrump is extending to go for the soft tyres, you'd expect he's going to finish quite comfortably ahead of Ayan at this stage, because he's going to be coming out on a better tyre, and he might well still be ahead. The hard tyres are not good at this circuit. For Mr. Business, it made sense to try and gamble with a different strategy. But and he comes in now. Very careful to not speed in the pits. You'd expect Polytrump's going for a set of softs, which he is. Polytrump is going on to the soft tyres and may still be ahead of Ayan. It'll be close if he's not. And he's going to be on a much faster tyre, which will make it to the end of the race from here. He's going to be ahead. Ayan's undercut has put him on a slower tyre and is not even giving him the advantage. Polytrump from here is the firm favourite to win this race. I mean, even if he gets a time penalty at this stage, he might even be okay. He's going to be so much quicker than Ayan. He almost certainly will pull away from the DRS. Because just look at the difference in traction. He's got half a second already on him. Ayan's gone with the hard compound tyres. And that has cost him this race. Polytrump's just going to run away to the end. There's no two ways to say it. He's already got a 7/10 margin, and his tyres aren't even up to temperature, most likely. Give it a lap. Polytrump's going to be out of the DRS, and he's just going to waltz away. But he'll need to get away decently quickly, because he may get a time penalty for the incident that happened earlier in the race. But he's got the 9/10 margin. He may well be out of the DRS by the first sector split. It won't be that... maybe it will. He's out of the DRS. It's happened already. A lap after he came out of the pits. Polytrump is now going to be leading the race by a country mile. He's broken the DRS. He's broken it comfortably. And now he's going to set the fastest lap of the race and be on course for a comfortable race victory, unless he gets such a severe time penalty that he ends up losing it. But even at that point, he might even be okay with a 10-second. With how quickly he's gaining right now, Polytrump might be able to get away with a 10-second time penalty if he can just extend this gap, which I think is actually ludicrous. He's 9/10 faster than his personal best. Polytrump's going to destroy the current fastest lap. He's going to improve by probably about 1.4 seconds. A low 28 seems reasonable for this lap, with how much he was up in the first two sectors. And let's just see, what does he do? 28.6. It's not quite as much as I expected, but he's opened 2.5 seconds since he pitted, which was 2 laps ago. I mean, yeah. As it stands, he just will be able to get away with even a 10-second time bounty from the stewards if it's deemed to be his fault, which I think is just insane. So Polytrump just cruising on his way to victory now. Don't think much will be able to stop him out of the field today, apart from maybe a safety car. I think a safety car will be the only thing that can stop Polytrump in this race. He's just waltzing away to a very comfortable victory. And he's still gaining well over a second per lap on Ian. He's going to get that 5-second margin soon, which will be a big sort of milestone of an advantage. It's a 28.4 this time from Polytromp, who sets the fastest lap again and is now 4.3 seconds ahead. Yeah. It will take a lot to stop Polytromp from this point. It looked competitive on the first stint, but Ian, with a strategic blunder, has led to a comfortable victory for Polytromp. And again, he's just extending that gap lap after lap, doing everything he needs to do. And there's not going to be much that can challenge him now. There's gaps all around the field, just opening themselves up. Polytromp absolutely cruising his way to victory now. Maybe he'll be beaten if he gets a 10-second time bounty, but even that's a stretch with how huge his advantage is right now. Yeah, the gap's now 6.5 seconds. Absolutely cruising to victory. It'd be impressive if he doesn't win from here. Oh yeah, there's Mr. Business with a 3-second time bounty. His race was done long ago, in all honesty. His race was over at the moment he got into that crash with Polytromp. Down the hanger straight that led to him spinning out. And I think since then, even he knew that that was his race done. Yeah, he's just absolutely cruising. No need to take any risk whatsoever for Polytromp, and it's been, I mean, over these last few laps have been incredibly dominant. And those are the sort of races you need. These are the sort of races you need to put in to win a championship. And that's what Polytromp's demonstrating today. Absolutely the race of a champion so far. I mean, there's always the very slight off chance that something goes horrendously wrong and he ends up crashing on the last lap, but obviously I don't see that happening. It would be a very unlikely scenario if it does occur. He's got the gap up to 9.2 now. Just absolutely cruising out front. No need to risk a thing, really. So he's got absolutely no reason to take like anything that could be even the faintest chance of a risk. Rav gets a 3-second time penalty at the end. But down in 10th, a lap down, won't affect anything too much. And yeah, the gap's almost made its way up to 10 seconds. Polytromp still setting fast lap after fast lap. I reckon there will still be the faintest bit of risk until the point where it hits 10 seconds, at which point he's done absolutely everything he can. If he can make it to 10 seconds, I don't think he's going to get any more than 10. And 10 would be quite harsh from what I saw for that incident. There's no way he's getting any more than that. It's 9.5. He'll do it comfortably. Across the field. Yeah, time penalties are all basically the same. There's going to be very little. Calavera might finish ahead of Staunch in the end. But there's absolutely no one who's been able to challenge Polytromp so far in this British Grand Prix. I mean, I tell you, like, Ayan was challenging at the start, but since the pit stops, there's been absolutely no one anywhere near to Polytromp. He's been completely in a league of his own since he made that stop. He's been practically flawless out there today. Since the very start, apart from that one piece of contact that I'm not even fully sure if it was his fault, there's been pretty much nothing you can critique of his drive today. He's just executed it absolutely to perfection. And it's a very well-deserved victory. With obviously the caveat of that collision, but I don't believe that was his fault. And, oh, I didn't see it very well. It could very well have been his fault, actually. I mean, but regardless of whether that happened, I don't think Mr. Business was going to win anyway. Considering he did make the same strategic call as Ayrton, the same strategic call that effectively handed Polytrop the race win. Both Red Bulls went for the hard tyres, which are just not the tyre to use. They have if I recall correctly, they have a similar tyre life to the mediums, or just being much slower in general, and they're slow enough that they're just not worth using. It's weird with this game because the hard tyres, like the hard tyre, is either the best or the absolute worst. Because at the majority of tracks, the hard tyre is incredibly overpowered, but at some, it's just absolutely awful at some. I'm not trying to do anything. I'm just saying words because I've got nothing else to say. There's not much I can do other than just praise Polly because there's nothing going on. Yeah, the nearest gap at the moment is 8 seconds across the entire field. To be honest, I wasn't even paying enough attention at that stage. Like, the race was done absolutely ages ago. That's quite embarrassing. I just wasn't paying attention. But Polytrop, very deservedly so, wins the British Grand Prix with a 10.5 second margin. Mr. Business down in third. 16 seconds, or 26 seconds behind his teammate. Cliffy Clive comes on in fourth place with a very commendable drive in the end there with Shane P5. No more options in P6. Rav comes home to take the final point in P10. Absolutely dominant from Polytrop though, the entire race. The hard tyres just aren't the cool at this circuit. Polytrop did the right thing. The rest of the field blundered. Or the rest of the front runners definitely blundered. And even in the stewards' room, there's no way that win's being overturned. I mean, driver of the day could be Clive, could be Polytrop. And it would be a bit harsh not to give it to the guy that won by 10 seconds. But there is very much a case for Clive. Yeah, hopefully the next race will be a bit more exciting than that one. The sprint was good. The sprint was fun. But then in the main race, it just kind of settled down. Obviously, Polytrump winning both the sprint and the main race, he will take the lead of the Drivers' Championship by a decent margin. Okay, thank you for watching the stream. We'll see you next week. For the... where are we racing next week? Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Canada. We'll see you then. In a week's time.